So there's been a lot of talk since KSI has made his return to boxing again. It looks like he's gonna box in August to eventually, accept the Jake Paul fight. That's the one that he wants is his tune-up. He might take another one, and he might fight in December apparently. But yeah, a lot of people are obviously, of course, Jake Paul. KSI start off as the king of YouTube boxing, but he's been gone. Then the pandemic happened. His music career has been out off the scene. And it looks like Jake Paul's became the superstar, I guess, or the king of YouTube boxing. I think they're both actually equal. Due to his fights, he's gone outside the YouTuber world. Just a lot of people would just see Jake Paul as the better fighter and the better boxer, and he'll KO KSI easily. Even some KSI fans are saying this. I think KSI even has admitted that if he fought the same way that he did against Logan, he'd probably lose to Jake. But yeah, a lot of people are saying that Jake Paul wins 100%. There's no chance KSI wins unless it's a lucky punch. And I disagree with that. I actually think KSI would be Jake's hardest opponent to date. And I think he'd have the best chance of beating him. And I think a decision win for Jake would be more likely. But like a lot of people are just writing KSI off. Let's just be honest here. If I don't think the skill gap between KSI, Logan Paul, and Jake Paul is actually that big. Now Jake Paul's been the most dedicated, obviously. But I think the talent level, the gap between those three isn't very big. I think if they all fought each other, I think there could be winner. Logan nearly beat KSI twice. They had two very close fights. And just watching Logan, even though I think Jake is more technical, he's the most technical out of the three. Just Logan's size, I think his speed and power. And I think if he actually were fighting Jake, that would be an even fight. I'd slightly favor Jake, but I don't know. It would be an even fight to me. KSI, the same thing with Jake. I don't think that the gap is as far. Of course, Jake Paul is more technical, I would say. But I think some attributes that KSI brings, like intensity, I think his athleticism is very underrated. I think he has good power, speed. And he also, unlike Tyron Woodley, KSI actually looks eye to eye to Jake. He's very close to his height. They have similar reaches, I would say. So Jake wouldn't be able to be as safe from a distance. I also think that unlike Tyron Woodley, which was Jake's hardest fight, the first one I think he won like 6 rounds to 2. The second one, before the knockout at 3-2 Jake, you also could say 3-2 Woodley. I also think that unlike against Tyron Woodley, I don't think Jake can just sit on his back foot and just box super comfortable at times to just get out of range or just stay out of range. Because KSI is around the same size as Jake. He might have a little bit longer arms, actually, about the same height, about 5'11", 6 feet-ish. And I think that he actually is more aggressive than Woodley. So I think that he would actually try to put punches together more often. Because when Woodley actually did try to pressure Jake Paul with punches, he did have some success. And Jake Paul was very quickly to get on his back foot. And when he got on his back foot in the first fight especially, you see when Jake Paul did get pushed on his back foot, that he wasn't as effective as a fighter. He wasn't super effective as a fighter. He wasn't getting at knockout power and knockout punches. But I think KSI could force him into that type of fight. And to try to land something. Or try to catch Jake coming inside. Jake tried to come inside, step to him. KSI could counter, could slip the right counter with the hook right hand. Like he did against Logan multiple times. He might hurt Jake or deter Jake from coming forward or throwing his right hand. So there's scenarios that KSI, I still would favor Jake, obviously. If they were to fight, I still would slightly favor him. But I think that if KSI and Jake Paul were to sign up for a fight, that means that KSI is a lot better than what he was when he fought Logan. Like, just because KSI hasn't been training the same as Jake has, but he still has been training at this novice intermediate level. It's very easy to improve. Like, to be honest, the most important thing that when I started boxing was shadow boxing. Like, people think that you gotta spar. I mean, sparring and stuff is important. You do have to get that experience, but he's been through multiple fight camps. So the biggest thing for KSI, of course, we know he has the dog in him. We know he wants to hit hard. He can take a punch. He can punch hard. He has the intensity. The biggest thing about him is technical. But the easiest way to fix that is really the easiest way you really can do that is shadow boxing, just drilling. If he gets a couple fight camps in, the gap can close very quickly in technique because it's not that hard to fix techniques that he has. Like, think about he fought Logan in 2019. Let's say he's been training for probably off and on for like 2 years or whatever since then. So he's had the Logan camp. That's how good he was. And he's at 2 years. It's actually not that hard to improve when he needs to improve. Like, keeping your hands up. You can just shadow box and do that. You don't need equipment. People overrate. Like, yeah, does need training and coaching, but you can learn a lot of stuff without being in full-on camps. It'll just be on him to get a fight camp or maybe 2 camps together to put the stuff together with this actual fighting. But the technical stuff he can learn very quickly and easily without even equipment. Like, he said since 2020 that he's had an actual high-level coach. So if he's been working for almost 2 years, 2 to 3 years, 2 years off the behind the scenes with the coach, he can fix some of the flaws that he has that showed in the Logan fight by keeping his hands up, how he comes in, his footwork. Because all you need to do really is just shadow boxing, doing drills, footwork drills. You don't need an active sparring partner or full camp to learn what people think he needs to learn to beat Jake. So yeah, the fight isn't. I think especially if KSI signs to fight him, that means he knows that he's fighting Jake, and he's not gonna walk in there not prepared. So if he signs him to Jake, that means he's definitely improved a lot. So like a lot of these people writing KSI off, saying he has no chance. I mean, I understand it. I still would favor Jake. But if they fight, I think it'll be like a 55-45 for Jake split. I mean, he's not the. I mean, people think that KSI needs to learn so much. I don't think he needs to learn that much to beat Jake. Jake is a good boxer. I respect him. I think he'll do decent against Tommy Fury. I don't know if he'll win for sure. I think he probably will. But styles make fights. And, like, there's some flaws with Jake Paul's, like, strategy. Like, first, like, I would do is try to. If I was to fight Jake Paul, what I would do is I would use lots of lateral movement. Not just moving. You know, a lot of people just come forward or whatever. Use lots of lateral movement. Lots of feints. Just feinting Jake Paul and see how getting off the line. A lot of lateral movement because Jake Paul, he has a very good punching power, but he needs to be set up to throw it. He's a puncher that needs to be Woodley made the mistake of standing in front of him because Jake Paul needs to be stationary to punch. You know, he did show Nate Robinson fight that he could fight, punch fighting backwards a little bit. The Nate Robinson KO was really actually special. But, like, he naturally needs to be more stationary to punch and set up his punches. And his movement isn't the best. He's not super quick on his feet. I think his technique is okay, I guess. But he sometimes does allow people to come to him. But, yeah, I would use lots of lateral movement so we let him make him reset. Like, each time I throw, bang, I'd step to him, you know, I'd feint with the jab. I might jab. I might bounce on my feet. And then when Jake Paul starts coming forward or starts moving, just step to the side. Make him reset. Because then he'll have to shift and reset. You know, some of that's what KSI can do. And then throw combinations out. Don't throw one punch, throw 2 or 3. And then get offline. You know, but yeah. That's what I think. I think KSI does have a chance. I think people are underrating him. Or overrating Jake Paul. So I still respect Jake Paul as a fighter. So that right hand is crazy. You know, he put niggas to sleep, but yeah, is what it is. That's the end of the video.